That was a long hike. Things can change in a heartbeat.
So the game plan for today is I'm driving a road that circles a block of woods, huge block of woods that I left that buck in last night. Anyway, I'm going to check to see if that buck crossed this road. If not, I might go in the woods where I left him. But I got to make that decision pretty quick. So I'll see if I can see where he crossed. And if he hasn't crossed this, then I got to assume he's in that block of woods. I don't see anything fresh crossing these roads today. And Dad just radioed me and said the same thing, so see what happens. Alright, so here's the deal. I drove down to where I left that buck last night, and it looks like there is 2 deer are going into the same area. Oh, there's a moose. There's moose all through here, this area, so it looks like a buck and a doe here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to follow these in, and I'm sure I can cut his big track at some point during the day. Because I'm pretty sure he's in there. That's a big deer. So I'm going to get on these ones. Stay with them as long as they go in the direction I want to go. Yeah, I guess that's the plan. That's my plan, and I'm sticking to it. So I just picked up that buck's track coming back across this way. So he basically walked around and came back to that little spur road that he crossed. So here's his bed. He's headed back south. So I'm gonna take this track, spend the day on him. He's all rested up. And all kinds of deer in through here. He's going right back the way he came yesterday. He's right in my boot tracks from yesterday. Luckily Dad's up in that area, so I'll tell you what, one thing that's annoying is the ground isn't frozen, but it's cold out. My boots keep doing this. That's all slushy snow underneath, and it sticks to my boot and then freezes. You go all the ways and it's almost like you have platform shoes on. To keep having to have to kick it off. He's moving right along here. I gotta get going on him. I wish I saw as many deer as I see moose. That's a god-awful sound. She's not very happy with me. I remember the first time I ever heard that. I thought it was a dog barking in the woods. I'm like, what the frick is a dog doing out here in the middle of the woods? It was a moose. I do have to make mention, today's my wife's birthday. Happy birthday, Lacey. She's gracious enough to let me go deer hunting, even though it's her birthday week, or as she says, her birthday month. So happy birthday, Lace. He has no idea I'm right here. He was just hunting. He must have caught wind of me over there. Wind's picking up now. We just crossed that stream for a second time. It's supposed to be a cold front moving through. I suspect that's where all the wind's from. Makes it tough to hear anything, but it covers my sound, so a lot of snow blowing off the trees, which is kind of annoying. 10:30 now. Keep going. So just getting into a pile of deer and this bog meandered all in around those. And then we had a snow squall come through, making it really tough. So do a little loop around. See if I can find where he came out of here. Whew, okay, I found him. I didn't know how that was going to turn out. I figured he would continue on the direction that he was headed. So I kind of started my loop down around there. And then I'm down by this stream. I see his track coming up this way. I guess we'll keep on him. That snow squall didn't help any either. Well, there, just get back out to the road. It's 3:30 now. And so I left that buck down in there. He was hooking back around and basically just did a big circle in those woods today. Lots of deer sign down in there. And I saw everything but deer today. And that buck just kept checking pockets of deer. He'd get right in and meander all around. Made it tough. I lost his track there a few times. We had a little snow squall, and then all the snow on the trees. You can see a lot of snow on the trees. And it was windy today, and it just kept falling off. You get into the spruces, and it's next to impossible to differentiate one track from another. So it's gonna be cold tonight. I think it's gonna be down around 0. So anyway, it's a fun day. I'll do it again tomorrow. Cold morning this morning. It was 3 at the camp. So the plan is I'm gonna track this down into a block of woods, and Dad's gonna come up in from the opposite side. A lot of deer down in here. So see if we can get something going. That buck I was following, my father just intercepted it. We'll see if I can catch up to him. So I followed Dad for about a half hour and figured, well, he's getting further and further away from where I want to go, which is further away from the track. We're getting closer to another road system. So I'm like, geez, no sense in both of us. Him tracking a deer, me tracking him and the deer. And then get out on a different road system about 10 miles away. And both have to walk back to the truck. I kind of hunted my way back through the woods. And there was a nice pocket of deer here at the beginning of the week. And nothing now. It's like you pretty much gotta stay on top of the deer movement. Anyway, I'll try to figure out where Dad's at. So I just got word Dad tracked a buck over to another road system. So I gotta go run over and pick him up. He's probably cold.
That was a long hike.
Well, it's Friday. Round, I don't know what it is. Feels like around 400. Me 0 deer, a lot. Still been a lot of fun. But on another fresh deer track, so can't complain. I could be doing a lot worse things. I just came to his bed from last night. It's frozen up. See if we can catch up to him pretty quick. We'll see where we end up. That bucket just got with the doe, and I see them kind of just lop off to the right. They didn't really take off running very hard, but I couldn't see the head, so I couldn't identify which was which. Hang out here for 30 minutes or so. We got some bad weather coming into today. It's 20 to 8 right now, so miles, I don't know, 40 minutes. It's fun anyway. There, I chased him up onto a deer trail. Not a very big deer. But one of the guys I'm with is on it. Or on that deer trail. So I left that, got down to the road.
Pretty slow day in the deer woods, huh?
Slow day today.
Yeah.
Not a very big buck.
Lots of daylight.
Yeah, things can change in a heartbeat.
Well, I'll get into something first off. Here comes the snow. We could use a little bit more to freshen up the deer tracking. It's been kind of tough. It's cold, fluffy snow. Everything kind of looks the same. But there is something, I don't know if this will make sense to anyone. When you step in the snow and it's fresh, like that right there, along the edges you get these little ridges, little compaction. And when it's fresh, you brush your feet across it like that. It's not hard, there's no resistance. But if you see an old track, like this old boot track here, When I brushed my foot against where it compacted the snow, you can feel resistance. I don't know if that makes any sense, but there's definitely a different feel. There's definitely a different feel to it, where that snow gets kind of just ridged up along the edges of the track. If I brush my foot against it, I can feel if there's resistance against my foot when it goes through it, or if it's nice and fluffy. And that's something I use. I don't know if anyone else does that, especially if it's been cold. You know, that'll start to get, those edges will get stiffened up, and you can feel the resistance against your boot when you move it across the fluffy snow around the track. That's one thing I do to try to tell the difference between a fresh track and an older track, and these type of snow conditions when it's been cold and the snow's been around for quite a while. But now it's really coming down. It's coming down good now. So one thing that happens way up in Northern Maine is as we get more snow and the temperatures drop, especially when it starts getting those really cold nights, deer start this migration towards the yards, and they hightail right out of the country. And you'll see these migration trails around here, and once they start heading to the yards, you'll see a trail that's about 3 feet wide, just beat down with deer tracks. It looks like 100 deer went through there in the last 24 hours, and they're all going in one direction, heading south. And it never used to be like that. There used to be all kinds of little deer yards along these little tributaries and stuff. And over the years, the habitat's been lost, and they're no longer deer yards. Back then, the deer didn't migrate out of the area because they didn't have far to go to get to a yard. And now, man, they go a long ways to yard up. They go towards the towns, and they go towards a big yard. When you start getting the weather cold and lots of snow, all the deer head out of the country. You'll see if we get snow early in the year, you'll see people get on those migration trails. Like a few years ago, we had 2 years in a row where we had snow. One year, a lot of snow starting in October. So come this time in November, the deer were headed to the yards hard, and people were just lining up along these migration trails and shooting bucks. They put a pretty good herding on the deer. You end up hunting around all kinds of people. And I can remember a while back, I'd never really experienced that much snow early on. And the first deer that I tracked one morning headed right up to one of those migration trails. And I'm following down the migration trail. And the first road that I come to, I step out and there's a hunter watching the trail. And I'm like, man, I'm not very comfortable with that. So yeah, after that, I remember that week, anytime that I tracked a buck, the minute it hit the migration trail, I left it. I'm like, nope, not for me. Not heading in that direction. So yeah, it doesn't look like they're hitting them too hard. They are. We were just up looking at one of the migration trails, and there are a lot of deer headed south, but not as bad as those years past. But or you can go from a pocket of deer in one area to none in what virtually seems overnight. Try to stay up on the game, figure out where they're moving to, where they're going. It can be pretty tough, but it's still fun out deer hunting. Can't complain about that. I mean, it really doesn't get any prettier than that. Nice and quiet, no wind, no deer either. I kind of get into some new country, wanted to check out an old road that kind of looped around an area I saw deer going into, and I didn't see an old deer track coming out of there, so won't be back here tomorrow.